Hello, this is Joel again from Full Freedom Life channel, where we talk about and discuss and share ideas on how to live a full freedom life where you live simply, healthy, wealthy, and happy. So in the previous video, I shared with you my concept of living healthy or healthy living. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my concept and experience of living wealthy or wealthy living. For me, being a minimalist, having learned the simplicity of it and the joy of it, wealth is about abundance. Like, I'm showing you this video of my journey from Fresno, California to Medford, Oregon for my next travel assignment. And it's a metaphor, really, about how abundant and how wealthy we are if you really think about it. Like, living in America, living in the world is abundance. Look at the abundance of nature. It's springtime now. Spring has officially started 2 days ago, March 20th. And look, the snow is melting at the top of the mountains right there. And more greens are growing. The trees are growing green leaves, the pine and all that. That in itself is abundance. When you really get a deep dive into nature, you'll feel wealthy just for the fact that, we're living in this time and age at this point. I once read a book when I was in college, many eons ago. The book titled "The Greatest Miracle in the World" by Ogmandino, one of my favorite authors. And in that book, he basically had a story about the geranium plant and how one stranger affected the author's, or at least the protagonist's, life by making him realize how rich and how wealthy he is, all to himself, because at that point in his life he was really getting down and sad and feeling sorry for himself. And it was a letter from God, a memorandum from God, where he was asked, how much is your vision worth? How much is your heart worth? Would you accept $1 million for them to take away your eyes? Would you accept $10 million for them to take away and give away your heart? Of course you won't, because it's your life. You know how the organ system is so complex yet synergistic, from the brain to the heart to the gut and all this. And now you see the beauty of nature and the wealth of nature. Now, I really had a better perspective about wealth when I was growing up in the Philippines, especially in a small town in the island of Leyte in the Philippines. I realized how fortunate, how lucky I was to be born through my parents, who was a doctor at the time, who eventually became mayor of our town, and a teacher. And they came from a family of wealth. Both came from grandparents on my father's side owned lands, huge lands, like we're talking 300 hectares of land, which is about 700 acres. And then my mom's parents came from a line of Chinese jewelers, and that's how they made their fortune. So that in itself made me fortunate. And then the example that was given to us 7 siblings by our parents about generosity, because they did not only help us grow up, paid for our college education, we went to private school, but they also helped a huge number of poor yet deserving students in my town, where they sponsored these kids, and that to me is a measure of wealth, not just the ability to accumulate financial assets, but also the ability, the willingness, and the comfort of giving them away. Okay? Wealth in our family was in the form of education. 5 of us went to medical and healthcare colleges. I became a physical therapist. My eldest sister became a doctor and pharmacist. My third sister became a nurse. My fourth sister became a med tech. You know, that college degree, tuition free, because first I was a scholar, that I was lucky, but the rest of my family, my siblings, my parents paid for their tuition and board and lodging and everything. Okay, so to me, wealth is not just a measure of how much you have, but a measure of your abundance mentality, of how much you've given. That's why at this point in my life, I've sponsored more scholars in college. I have 12 of them in college, all born and raised in Tabangalite, and 1 high school scholar. That to me is a sign, or is a part of my legacy, as well as the legacy of my parents. So I founded this scholarship fund called the Ramandaban Scholarship Fund to help educate poor but deserving kids, college kids in our community. So how else can you practice wealth every day? Well, breathing. As soon as you wake up, you do breathing, you do meditation, you prayer, and be grateful. Another secret to a wealthy and abundant life is the mindset of being grateful for what God, the Creator, the universe, has given to us. The sunshine, that alone is a multi-trillion-dollar worth. Okay, the sunset. I am a sucker for sunsets. I love watching sunsets. And then the ability to travel freely. After I had my kidney transplant, a year later, I was able to travel across the pond, across to the Philippines, and I've been back and forth just this year 3 times now. Now I'm on my way to my next assignment in Ashland, Medford, Oregon, and previous to that I was in Fresno, as I mentioned in my previous videos. So that's the next component of living a full freedom life. So this is Joel signing off for now. Bye bye for now until the next video.